was Yan. Yan,
Hey,
our teacher.
we're live. Hey, champions. 76th episode?
Yeah,
Yeah.
76.
Year and a half-ish? Around there? Year and a quarter? Wait, how many weeks? Yeah, 52 weeks in a year, right? So
Yes.
it's a year and some. It's a good number. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. This has probably been one of the crazier past few days, at least for me. I've been really tired. And I know I've been handing things off to Alex a lot because I just can't be there for a lot of these things. So, a lot of cool updates. Are we ready to just jump into things? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, man, so much to talk about. Let's do it.
All right. I closed the chat there for a few seconds, but it's okay. So today we're going to be talking about the Card Tavern tournament, which has been crazy. It's been awesome seeing not just the players get into the game, but seeing them grasp the concepts and apply some of the tactical strategies. So really excited about that. We're going to be talking about Origins Game Fair, some of the cool things to expect from there, and what's happening on that side. I did want to touch on some of the updates that came in through Coliseum Fate. I don't know if we're off time for that. We also have a bunch of questions that came in from the community. I don't know if you two have read them.
I read through most of them quickly,
Yeah.
or as they
All right.
popped up. But
I don't know how to read.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then Joey put some stuff on our plate because that's what Joey does. We put things on his plate, he puts things on our plate. It's all good. But before we get into that, we're talking about games we played in the past week. So, Alex, kick us off as every week.
So I finally got taken out in the Future League tournament finals. It was a good match against Eric. Won't go too busy on what was going on there. What was it? Was it classic decks with 10 new cards, or
it was Future League decks with
Future League decks?
10 classic cards.
I lost, so I've erased it from my memory. I can't even.
It's like
I
it never
I
happened,
don't even
right?
remember. This is not a joke. This is the truth. I cannot remember the deck I played. I cannot. I know. Okay. I played Ice Mage. That's as much as I remember right now.
Yes.
I think it was a water deck. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Ice Mage water deck. Okay. But most of this week, which I actually enjoyed playing it along, I was playing Fong. Playing Fong all week. Fong Tigers, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
I think a big piece that people have not been playing has been, I sent it to you, Will, this morning. Sacred Grounds. So you can double move, drop a Sacred Grounds, drop your Tigers, and when you need them, they'll be in the right position. But more importantly, just because Idris Blitz is so popular, Sacred Grounds messes with them so much.
Yeah, that was a card that had people loved it in alpha, and it got rated, and then no one touched it in beta. So the alpha version, it didn't restrict that it had to be an unoccupied spot. You could just play Sacred Ground anywhere.
Oh, man.
And then beta, it got rated to say that it's only on unoccupied spots.
But it's still a quick. Like, as Alex was mentioning this morning, we were talking about it, and it's still a quick beckon. A quick create. And you can just put it down on, like, if you're going second, you can put it down or whatever. But
It's one of those few cards that's stronger going second.
Yes.
It's good to know that they exist, right?
But then after that, I just played a few other random games with Will this morning.
Mm-hmm.
What did I? You played.
You played your
Mallet?
Fong, and you played a Mallet deck.
That was the first loss for that Fong deck against your Mallet deck. Then I played my Mallet deck, and beat on Odara with she had some horses. There wasn't much surprise there. And then
Odara, yeah.
And I was just playing some Raw Hog games today, testing with some other people who were practicing for Origins. So I won't say much because I don't want to give away any of their practices and strategies.
Right.
Fair enough. Awesome. Will, tell us some stories.
Oh boy. Well, started streaming
Yes.
using Coliseum of Fate, so that's exciting. Just been doing some test streams here and there, but hopefully my wife pointed out that there's no schedule on my page, there's none of this, none of these things. It's like, okay, I'm just trying to get set up here, thanks. Yeah, it's been good so far. We've had a bunch of people jumping in the games, joining up in Discord, playing games. Really loving it. Again, in classic fashion, Alex and I built almost the exact same deck with the Fong deck. Very close, very similar. I didn't have the Sacred Grounds, but I definitely see the purpose there. But the big news is Saturday rolled into heads or tails with a little core OTK. They all laughed at me and said, "What are you doing? We got rid of this." And well, let's say it's back. The darkness is back. Yeah, it worked really well. Very efficient. Nice. We got to play a couple games against some random decks. Then I pitted against Idris Blitz and the Kun deck, and it's doing very well. Very efficient. Hasn't been able to kill a Long or a Malik yet, but that's always been a difficulty with OTK. So, but it is there. It is something that people playing in these circuits may need to know about. That how do you bring in or have answers to OTK?
Yeah.
Or burst style damage, right? We saw that with substrikes and stuff too. So
yeah. Scheming Skeleton says that he wants to join you, hopefully next week or this weekend, to reteach him and get
sounds
things
good.
back going. So, yeah.
Yeah, next week's not so good. You'll be in Oregon this whole week.
Already been requested that if we're still driving, that you're gonna have to we'll do the live stream as I drive, and you can hold the phone, and we'll road trip and live stream tomorrow, or not the next week. Is that next week?
Next week.
Oh,
next week. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
next week.
Oh. Yeah, there's another big thing that's happening tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesdays are comes after Tuesday.
That's the thing.
Thursday.
Yeah, that happens the day after Tuesdays. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So my big matchup this week was again with the kitchen table community. They're getting really good. I'm really impressed and excited. I think Louis has offered something up if one of them wins the entire thing. So I'm excited to see them compete and go for it. But I was playing, and I'm playing the Core Evasion control deck. It's definitely one of my favorites. And then going against the Angel deck. And the game starts off, and it's 2 Angels, and I think there was a Stone Protector in the mix. And I was like, I'm done. There's no way I can win this. And then, just by luck, a few good plays on my end, a few, underestimating the situation on their side. I was able to Mobius, I think, 2 Angels in the entire process. Death's Companions coming in for 5, and the Core coming in and Mobiusing them. And then... yeah, Death's Companions, if played with well, they have a really good chance of knocking out Angels. It's just, it's not easy. It's always a 2-for-1. But if you can do it, then yeah, it works. So, I'm still a huge fan of the Core control. So, yeah. Good job, you two, for making that. I was talking to someone today about it, and I was showing them, and they're like, oh, there's no tsunamis in it. You must really suffer against swarm decks or heavy summon decks. I'm like, no, I've done all right so far. Yeah. It works. It's not as easy, but it can happen.
Swarm decks don't do good against usually the Death Companions.
Yeah.
Too well. Yeah.
How does
a lot of that was because Ruben didn't have tsunamis. Right? Now, if he had tsunamis, there possibly would have been in there, and I definitely run tsunamis in my sideboard for that deck. Because sometimes you do just want it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the 3 skeletons just isn't going to work, so you just need to go to something a little bit bigger. So
yeah,
but
that's what I was saying. I think they're definitely going to be in my sideboard. I don't have a sideboard for that deck because I primarily play on Coliseum Fate, but if I had one, it would definitely be focused on the tsunamis, swapping out some of the probably not too many of the Call to the Bones, but a few of the 4s and 6s merging down.
Yeah, you can do the 4s and the 6s. You can reach, or one of each. You can do 2 for tsunamis, and yeah, there's a lot of it definitely has a lot of flexibility when it comes to sideboard options too. So.
But it was definitely the type of deck I'm looking for in the game, where it's evasive, it's a slow play, it's not going to look for game like round 2 or 3 wins. It's looking to get it into round 7 or 8, and it's also looking at forcing your opponent to stay in the game for that long. Where like some of those OTK decks, the ones that are trying to win by round 3, if they go into round 7, they're like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just top decking backflips. What am I gonna do? But yeah.
Now there's slow plays, and then there's like really slow plays, like this morning's match, where I was like, okay, he's obviously playing core control, but he played three Call the Bones without ever moving, and I was like, okay, we get it. You have a lot of Call the Bones. And the Indians player just let him do it. It's like we're just letting him draw all these cards. At one point, he had like 12 cards in his hand to like Idris's like 6. I was like, oh, this is not going to be good.
Yeah. So let's segue right into that. So for everyone who's watching and don't know, we have a bunch of amazing Magic the Gathering players. They play other TCGs as well, and they're coming. They've started a tournament focused around Genesis playing in Coliseum Fate. Their match is actually in Geo. You can look for it under Card Tavern. And yeah, it's been an amazing community. Checking out the game, a lot of them playing it for the first time, and kind of giving their feedback as well. That's one of the things I've really enjoyed. It's after their match. If you stay into their channels, they'll talk with the community about feedback on the game. And I don't know if they expected us to be there or not, but it's very honest, and I appreciate that a lot. So on the list, you got Cordial Call, you got Just Lola Man, Legend VD, MTG Nerd Girl, Aft Office, Bess Marmote, Pleasant Kenobi, and Raphael Levy. So awesome team. They seem to be really loving it. The fun part was when some of them met each other for the first time. Like, oh, I've heard of you. I follow you too. It's like, oh, great. I'll give you a follow back. And like, it was really fun seeing how, like, first and foremost, these are like really, really nice people. Every time I talk to them, I'm like, yeah, this is what gaming is supposed to be. Like, really great people coming together and enjoying game building communities and just being wonderful at it. And on top of that, they're so good at games. So, let's start with the big question. What is like a highlight moment in any of these matches that comes to your mind?
I mean, I'm just really proud of the Blitz deck. I just wanted to say that, I love everyone. I appreciate all the love for Blitz. Finally getting its time to shine. I know someone also named Sid destroyed and dashed Blitz's chances of truly shining in that moment, but we won't go there right now. We'll just enjoy. We'll go for the ride.
Sid's gonna get bashed so much in tonight's video. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Alex, any moments come to your mind?
Oof. There was a lot of good moments, but I think I enjoyed the tactical aspect of the first 2 games, Raph and Pleasant Kenobi. I'm trying to figure out a very specific moment. The second game was definitely a better one with back and forths.
Did it go into 3 games? I had to.
It didn't. It ended up just getting the 2.
Yeah. It
was a close game where they both ran out of resources at the end, but Raph had a Demon's Rage to finish it off, and Kenobi had a Brook to finish off his resources, but the Demon's Rage trumped the Brook. Yeah.
I know for me, I missed the very first game. I don't remember who was playing in the very first matchup. I'm sure I can look that up. I missed that one, and then I came in on game 2. There have been a lot of good moments. There have been, I think, the humor between the competitors has been really great. But Nerd Girls today, where she did this Sandstorm, did the bait and switch and Hurricane Sweep to kill off 2 Brooks. I was like, that's good play. Like, that's the type of stuff I want to see. It's like, it took her a while to like see the pieces kind of fall together when it comes to the tactical and positioning. But when she started getting those moves together, it was just golden. Like, it was just such a good moment.
The first game was, do you mean LVD versus Lola Man? Were you saying, or did you mean the first
think
game
I've
of the day?
no,
First
the
game
very
in the
first
tournament.
match of the tournament.
Oh, the very first match of the tournament
Yeah.
was. Oh, that was a while ago now.
Yeah. It feels like a while ago, but really, wasn't it
That
just
was
Thursday?
who played today? Who played the Brook today? The Brook deck from today versus Angels.
Yes, that's right. I haven't seen an Angels matchup.
It was Brook versus Angels. They were very much both of them getting their footings in that match. But like after seeing them both play again, the level difference, I don't know. They like seem like completely different people. Especially was it? I think LVD. I want to say LVD. Played.
He was
his
playing
match
the Angels, yeah.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
and he did which is a simple play, but not many people would think about that. Is just to stay exactly where you are against the Kun deck in the starting position, because the Kun deck moves up 3. You want to move left or right, but if you don't, the Kun deck will go 1-2 to do their action abilities. But now they're sitting in your shutdown awareness.
Interesting.
And that's when he
Yeah.
stepped mind read it, and he went, "Oh, I can't do anything. I have to shift my game plan." But he didn't do it right then. He's like, "I'll still do some damage." No, and then he stopped. And he went, and then turn 2, he realized I needed to switch my plan that very turn until the Angel turn 1.
Yes.
And for the rest of that match, he was like, "I knew
That Angel lived for the rest of the match.
That
Yeah.
one turn, he's like, that cost me the game because he would have saved 6 life."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was LVD versus Cord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to stand and face Kun. You can't let him dictate where, and you have to sort of stay that one spot away so he doesn't fly over top of you and turn around, right?
Mhm.
Like you have to just sort of expect that you're going to get the damage is going to be coming, and you don't want it coming from your sides. You want it coming from your front, so that you can react. Hopefully, but yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the other matchups that were happening. I know both of Raf's games that like last week and this week. It's been very impressive seeing like that growth and understanding, because it's a very technical deck. The previous deck, so the first round, it was like, okay, we wanted the decks originally to just be like pure J2, but then things got out of our hands a little bit, and one of them came in with the Flight of the Conqueror, and that kind of changed things. So this time around, this round, a lot of them, like I was sitting with Raf this morning to not just recreate the deck Alex proposed, but also make a few changes, because he really wasn't a huge fan of shutdown and pressure point, so putting in left hooks instead. I think those are the only changes we looked at. I think he was thinking about pulling out the Demon's Rage for Meteorites or something like that. But Demon's Rages have been really good in this tournament. I've seen a lot of good plays with them.
Yeah, because the Demon's Rage is not normally in those decks. That was something that I only added because it was J2 only, and I wanted to give them a little bit of extra energy, but it's been playing really well. Like, beyond what it was expected. Because they've only been 2-ups in almost all the decks.
Yeah. Does that change your opinion of Demon's Rage?
No. Not at all. You know, if you have to play it, if you don't have access to Thymos, then you like Thymos. You should. I still believe in Rain of Arrows personally.
Yeah.
In the Sahas decks, yes, you can play you can play Rage. That's all you got.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? No, I think it's also been really cool watching some of them, the amount of practice that they're putting into it. Because I think it was Best Marmot, or was it someone else who like did a 6-hour stream of Genesis, was playing for hours leading up to their match. And even after their match was done, they continued to play with people in their chat. I was like, that's really good. Like, I really want to see how that kind of pushes forward.
It speaks volumes about how good the gameplay can be, or when the right person finds the game, it really connects.
Well, Kenobi wanted to play with Will this morning, but Will was like, "No, I'm too important. I'm too big."
I did not.
Like,
oh my gosh!
You could wait till I'm available.
You know that was on stream, right? Like, I remember hearing that chat. Will's like, he's famous. I don't want to interrupt him.
Right?
It was
Like,
after
that's the
office, right? Thanks, Joey.
So I was like, well, I responded back, but then of course I'm like mid game with Alex, and then they're like, do this, or someone posted it on my feed, and I'm like, I am such a fish out of water with this, but like, checked it, go to Discord, do the response, and Alex was like, oh, it's been 6 minutes, it's probably moved on. I was like, really? 6 minutes? I barely do anything in 6 minutes these days.
I pulled up his stream. You don't even draft this. It was not fun.
So I missed my opportunity, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, don't hesitate just messaging some of them or pinging them and saying, hey, if anyone's free, I would love to get some games in. And
well, we've seen what Sid does when he helps out, so I just
yeah,
don't
he did that behind doors. None of us knew, right?
I don't want to skew the results any one way or the other.
All right, let's talk about this. Sid, are you watching? He's here.
He's right
He's
there.
here.
That's
I
the
see
only
him.
reason
I see him
because he's chirping me.
All right. So it was Nerd Girl versus Just Lola Man, right?
Yeah.
And Just Lola Man was playing Fight of the Conqueror, and Nerd Girl's coming in with the Spider Deck, and the Spider Deck has no evasion, which I'm usually okay with if it's an OTK deck. If you're gonna be like, all right, the moment we're in base-to-base contact, I'm killing you, right? But if it's like, oh, we're getting base-to-base contact and we're gonna stay here for a few rounds, you need something. But there was no evasion. It was pure aggressive cards and spiders, and nothing's above 6G. It's 3 to 6 that entire deck. I'm like, that is challenging. I've tried a lot of times to run a deck that was just 3 to 6, and it never works for me.
I'm sure. Was there even dedicated studies in that deck?
Nope.
No.
What are you doing?
Unfortunately,
let's pull up
what are
this
you
deck
doing?
list.
What are you doing, Sid?
Let's pull up this deck list.
So I believe that there was information about that was J2 only, and that there were decks that were built
Chrono
around
Walker
J2
is in
only.
J2. Chrono Walker 6G.
And then, so the deck was built in order to sort of compete some of that level. But then what happened is that, Lolaman had enough of this sort of J2 only sort of baseline first deck Genesis type thing, and just decided to go right for the whole thing.
Sid beat him up with that deck, right?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Sid played the Converse against them. Because
So
Lolaman really wanted to play Angels. He was like, "Oh, I want to play Angels," and then he was stuck in his head. He's like, "What about that Kun guy? He's gonna get me."
yep, he did mention that. So the deck is 3 Combustas, 11 Windslashes, 5 Goliath Sphinx Eaters, 9 All-Limbs, 9 Urticatings, 6 Breaths, 4 Sandstorms, 3 Hurricane Sweeps. So Goliath, All-Limbs, Urticatings on summons, Combust. And then you got Windslash, Sandstorm, Hurricane on damage, and then Breath is your only non-aggressive card in the deck.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is different, yeah.
Dedicated, your Nubia, your double drawing, everything here is solid. Like, the thing is, in most of our games, if you looked at the average chi of her hands, they were pretty reasonable. Like, she ran pretty solid, consistent hands. But when you're fighting against Kun, it hurts so badly, because no matter what she did, everything just fell so quickly.
Actually, thinking of the matches now, I want to call out the recovery after the turn 1 meteorite to blow up her entire board, and she was like, "Wow, that's game. I'm done," and then she managed to come back.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Today,
but there is some learning there, right? Like
yes.
I think they're on multiple sides because of where they're coming from. There is a bit of, well, this is a card game. We are playing with cards, so I have the cards. I can play these cards. I will play these cards, right? And holding back. It wasn't really till I think Raf and LVD from what I saw that was really holding back the resources and waiting for the right time and sort of picking their part. Or
there was in the Pleasant Kenobi versus, it must have been Marmoset, second match. Marmoset just said, "Oh man, I wish I had any Baruchs," and was holding 3 Baruchs.
Yeah, he bluffed.
yeah. That was against Kenobi, yeah.
The mind games though are real in this game. There isn't a lot to say when there is like, because at any point anyone can play any card.
Yeah.
So you always have to assume that they have at least one response or something to respond with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to bluff today facing well that I had 2 bolt shots. And he had to respond, right? Yeah, I had to pretend like I had them.
Don't pull my own moves on me.
He does. But he had the double Oten away and then Oten back in after the bolt shot.
Yeah.
Risky play.
I think so. I think my biggest thing about this deck is that it doesn't have any room for forgiveness, which is fine when it's a deck you built yourself and it's something you're practicing with, you're getting a good understanding with. Now, if she has a particular skill set, and we saw that today. Like, she was able to turn that deck around, use it really well, came in for the kill on the second game was really well done. And in the first game, like, the triple Baruch, she thought she was done for and was able to turn that around as well. I think if it wasn't for the fact that we're seeing players with high skill sets come in and play with these decks, we're seeing them execute things in a really solid way, right?
Right.
But
just to answer a question in chat, they were opening 2 directly the bolt shot. There were bolt shots on the stacks as well as many other abilities.
Yeah.
Continue.
But it's I could see for someone who's like, this was her first real game. Like, most of our other games have been tutorial games.
Yeah.
So coming in with your first real game with a deck that has very little to no forgiveness, it is very challenging, especially when you're getting hit by bolt shots and sub strikes. You're like, wait, you're hitting me for 6 and 4, and those are 7 and 8. She doesn't even have 7s or 8s in the deck.
Yeah.
So at the end of this match, definitely she played really well with it. We saw some really great skill sets, and it is a good deck. It's just, I think it's the right players need to be wielding it more than anything. I compared it to kind of like mono white weenies. That's the way I kind of see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, made. I after the first game, I was messaging Sid during the first game, and I was like trying to make him feel bad. But at the end of the day, I was telling him, it's like,
the thing is, he can play that deck really well, right? Like, it's his deck. He built it from the ground up. He knows, what he's looking at, when he's looking at it. And I think in the version that I've seen him play in paper, there is dedicated studies and some other tools in there. But he has removed the bolt shots. He was going more the summoner style.
And I'm very grateful that he came in. He helped her out. She was the only one who came in with a custom deck for the tournament. I think if she had a little bit of prep work on how the deck works, then those first matchups could have been a lot better. But she won today.
Yeah.
And it was,
there was supposed to be a training montage. We were promised a training montage between the last game and now.
Yeah, the 2 rounds went by. It happened so quickly. I think they were expecting a few more days in between, round 1 and round 2. But I've already I've messaged her, and if anyone from the community is available, let these players know. If they're in the fan server, let them know that you're available and that they need some help training or understanding meta. You're up for doing that, right? And then it was funny because in today's match with Nerd Girl, Raphael showed up in the chat. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's trying to understand the competition now.
Well, so it's going to be Raph versus Nerd Girl, right?
Very likely, yeah. Because they're both 1-1.
Both 1-1, right? I don't know. See if they change their decks. The Spiders do well against Death Companions, right?
That's true. That is true. But yeah. And then, like Sid says in the chat here, it was him versus him, because it was his Filet of Concord versus his Spider deck. And he lost no matter what.
There's too many Sid around. There's too much Sid about. There's one here, one there, everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, was there any other kind of things we wanted to highlight as learning moments, growing experiences?
So I think only we have the new ones fresh in our minds, but I probably some in the back to the last week, some of the other matches. What else got played? The ref game last week was a very good one too. It was the Blitz, right? They definitely took their time.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable. What was the fourth match? I'm trying to remember.
I'm remembering Kenobi Rabbits. That was in round
that was
one.
the third match.
Yes, and the fourth match was Nerd Girl versus Lola Man. That was the last match of round one.
Okay, then I will stop mumbling on about them. Maybe we didn't talk about them.
Overall, I think what we saw in round one was really everyone learning the game. And when you had decks that were a little bit more forgiving, those are the ones that kind of started to shine through. But now we're seeing that the decks that have more tactical advantages, if the players can manipulate them, they're taking the advantage in the game. So I'm excited to see what round 3 has. We still have another game tomorrow, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So.
What time is it?
I think it's Blitz versus Blitz. I'm
Yeah?
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's Blitz versus Blitz because there's 4 Blitz players in the tournament, I think.
So many plays. Everyone was
I'm
recommending.
happy. I'm happy about it. I can't lie.
All right. We have a question from a Wicked Sid in the chat. He would like to make a formal inquiry as to why there's no teleport in the Malfeasance Tender deck. Because if you're releasing your aura on teleport, that's one less Malfeasance you're going to get to play. That's my statement.
That's it.
That's it.
Conversation
Why teleport
over.
when you can slowly die over a long period of time and never play your Malfeasance?
Oh, you're not gonna. You're just gonna. Many people do not play the Malfeasance decks right. You charge 2 spaces forward. They're gonna come at you on the very first turn. You're gonna Chrono Walker. Next turn, you just need a step 1 and you're already there. That's it. That's all you need.
There you go. That's Alex's.
You've won. You've gotten there.
Everyone now will just step forward every time and not do anything.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember when the last matchup is. Joey, if you're listening, if you can put it into chat and let us know when the last match is tomorrow. I just know it's tomorrow. So. All right, cool. So if you're not watching these streams, make sure you're following Genesis BOC on Facebook, Discord, Twitch, like so many places. We're posting very regularly about all these going live. I think Instagram and Facebook are our biggest place to make the posts, but we're throwing it everywhere on Discord. So come join us in Discord. Oh, that's another big thing. We had a huge growth in Discord members this week. So are people teaching them how to play? Is Newbie Night gonna be epic this week?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people coming in asking questions. A lot of people are coming from the stream, wondering, wanting to learn games. So there's a lot of opportunity to play, and people are asking to play, which is awesome.
Great.
But
so if you're watching this and you're part of the fan Discord, reach out to the new players. Teach them how to play, and then let's get Newbie Nights to be really awesome. I know.
Yeah, I think that Wicked Sid guy should go learn how to play a little bit.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he needs a refresher, right? All right. So next thing I want to mention was Game Fair, Origins Game Fair. Next week.
Yep.
Are you driving down on Tuesday or Wednesday? Like the first
Tuesday.
day is
Tuesday, I think.
I think Tuesday. I have the Tuesday prepared to drive down.
Yeah.
So
I assume Tuesday. We have yet to actually have a meeting to plan out what we're doing for that day.
I assume that's happening.
I've got everything set up. It's on you now. You go do this.
So yeah, Tuesday. I that's what I was expecting. Tuesday drive down, and we're gonna do up the Ohio.
Yeah. I heard a good number of people are coming in from the Heads or Tails community to come
Yes,
play
there
down
are a couple people are planning on sneaking down,
Nice.
trying
Sneaking
to
down.
spike the tournament with a bunch of new players.
Newbie mornings. I think if there was newbie mornings, that would be more on Will's plate. Will, you're always up early.
Yeah, newbie mornings. We'll start it up.
Nice.
Damien will be the newbie for the week.
Yeah, there be, and then I've heard a lot of people from different Discord communities talking about wanting to come. Scheming Skeleton's gonna be there. He's got tokens with his new like Scheming Skeleton logo, or that the artwork that Demyan did.
Done by Damian.
Yeah.
Damian, yeah.
Those look
Damian.
Damian. Damian. Yes. I'm excited to see those. That's gonna be fun. Because I know who Scheming Skeleton and Joey are because I see them all the time, but I've never physically met them in person, so that's gonna be exciting as well. As well as being in gaming, a hub of gaming for a number of days is going to be probably both tiring and overwhelming at times, but
yeah,
I'm excited for it. So
it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I don't
we
know.
have our first circuit.
Yeah, first circuit, first
week.
U.S. convention.
Right, a lot of firsts.
Yeah. I have no idea how much of a difference U.S. conventions are gonna be compared to the Canadian ones. I've heard a lot of stories. I haven't experienced it myself, so looking forward.
I'm excited too.
So for you guys, it's just this one convention. But what you guys don't know is I have a convention every single weekend for the rest of my life. This weekend I have Niagara Falls Comic Con. And I got Monday is my one day away from a convention, and I gotta go pretty much head off to Origins on Tuesday, and then when I come back from Origins, I think it's Forest City Comic Con, followed by YetiCon, and then I like to say it's Anime North.
What is a
right
YetiCon? What is a
YetiCon's a con up north, with like ski hills and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I didn't know how big that was. I know Lionel has been there for that one, but
I've seen I always see Lincoln there.
Yeah,
maybe it's
Lincoln.
Lionel. How do you know?
That's what I got confused because I still wasn't used to Lionel at the time, and I thought it was Lionel.
Oh boy.
This is what happens when they're twins. And then so for people who come and visit the booth, there's gonna be a Scheming Skeletons giving away stuff. We're gonna have the J2 reprint stuff there, and that'll be also the beginning of Origin spoiler season. So that's happening at the convention. That's gonna be super cool. On top of that, we've got I'm gonna leave Joey to do the official messaging of this tomorrow or later. I think it's gonna be tomorrow. But we have a poster that we made specifically for the convention.
I think it's already out there.
It's already out there?
Yeah.
All right. So let me put it up on the
Flash
screen.
it up on that screen. Whoa,
Yes.
look at that art.
Wow.
Ooh, wow.
So,
just Alex's arms. Sun's out, guns out.
the thing I like about this, it was Joey's idea, like to show this progression of the game. The fact that we've been around for a while. It's not just a new game, but there's been so many iterations, and the Angels, been reprinted so many times. So the cool thing about this poster is that it'll be our first time trying out that spot foiling. So not the entire sheet is foiled, only certain sections of it. So that's really cool. And then on top of there, you get to see the initial sketch that Leslie did. And this is when you could even see in the initial sketch in the testing one that the attack ability was actually just a stat. Like you just had an attack number. It wasn't an actual ability at first.
So you have them all right there?
Pardon?
I'm checking. Yeah, I might have a poster on me.
They've been there the whole time.
All the spoilers have just been available.
Oh, just right there.
I've just been, there's been a secret. Yeah, go back, watch every stream. I've been showing a different card off every.
No, you haven't.
No, yeah.
There's a box. There's a special box on the. If everyone looks at Assad's shoulder, just on the left shoulder, there's a little box.
You know what?
That shoulder.
They can't see me right now, right? The image of the angels.
I mean, look at that art. That art is amazing. This is a well-planned podcast.
I think it's a good time to let our guest in.
Oh, Alex.
Okay. All right. Everybody's favorite bit.
The sketch is amazing. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever. Was that in your binder, or
Yes.
was that just?
Yep. I've had the
So I
binder.
just-
The funny
I
part
think
about
I
both
missed
the
it.
initial sketch and the testing one is that I don't have digital files of these, so I literally had to scan them, like the actual copies of them, and like I still have one of them on my desk. I just haven't put it away in my binder. So this is like the old version of the Angel,
Wow.
and like the attack ability was in there
Right
on
there.
the side. And it had another ability called Smite, which was Smite, Action Speed, Exhaust, Kill Target, Chaos, Summon. Not in her awareness, just straight up just kill.
Just kill it.
Um,
Just kill the chaos summon.
yes,
Perfect.
so this poster is going to be for people who come to Origins while supplies last. We're still kind of getting final numbers on them. And yeah, just come to the booth. Day one, get your posters as soon as possible. I know Joey's will have a lot more of the details as things go on. I just wanted to give people the heads up. I'm excited about the poster. They look awesome. I'm gonna get mine and frame it.
Nice.
Yeah. R.I.P. Lightless. Lightless was supposed to be the angel killer, but the original angel was the Lightless killer.
That's just been insane if that
Right?
would have stuck around.
What's our Becky
But-
cost? I'm pretty sure it's still the same. Yeah, 25
25?
aura. Yeah.
Wow.
And it had flight. Oh, it didn't have aerial though. Can move
Okay.
on to occupied spots. It didn't have this can't be targeted by range.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Yeah. This is
Ariel.
so that's happening there. Lots of big things happening at that con. So I'm excited about that. And then I guess I want to answer the community questions. Is there anything else
Sure.
from
No.
Origins that we want to talk about?
That's
That-
no. Well,
Game Fair?
Yeah, community.
All right. So there's some questions that were left in the exploring the library thing. We've talked about the Vetflix and Chill video, right? Have you two seen that?
I
Which
watched
one? I think
some
so,
of
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but I don't think I watched all.
Where they go over like the crack stuff.
Yeah.
And they have
Yeah.
the two of them. One's on the phone.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Great
Yeah.
video, great people. They've been super enthusiastic about the game. Like today, they just put up a bunch of tweets being like, "Check out this artwork. This artwork's better. This is better." It just kept on escalating. It was great. They're wonderful people. Really excited to play the game. They're just out traveling right now, so they can't play just yet. But their video did bring up a lot of things. So the first one comes in. The champions all have starters as rarity, which makes sense when they used to be in starter decks. So without context, it's a bit weird. Any thoughts on change of rarity terms for future sets? Probably not Origins, since that's already so far along. That's true. Origins is a bit late.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, originally there was the concept of starter decks. We really don't have those as much anymore.
But I guess the better, closer thing is every card has its card type on it. This is champions are the only ones that don't say they're a champion card.
Yeah, that's true.
But they are the only card that starts in the actual arena, right? So that's the card that actually belongs there, and it's not coming from.
But
anywhere else.
if you're a new player and you get it,
Yes.
nowhere on the card does it say champion. I'm pretty
Doesn't
sure.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
New errata coming. Every champion is now officially a champion.
yeah. Should probably alpha ones I think did. Where's my alpha binder?
Oh no.
My only colored binder. Yeah, it did. Alpha champions did, but then eventually it's like we got to beta and we're like, yeah, people know these are champions, right? Right? Yeah, they can assume that. Because alpha said not only did they say champions, but all the cards had card types, and in beta I got rid of all the card types, and then they came back and welcome to JLR.
Oh.
I disappear off screen for a little bit.
Yeah, but I think that's a great question. I think personally.
Yeah, I think just having I don't know what the rarity would be.
I mean, they are the only thing that
Champion.
has
It'll be champion.
just a
What-
champion
just a
rarity.
champion
But
rarity.
They are the only thing that
So-
has the banners for like health and energy, right?
Yeah.
So.
They are a unique card. Their template is different. They do stand out. They're there's a back and front printing on them now. There is a lot of things, but I think them actually saying champion on them does make sense. I don't know about champion rarity, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the rarity doesn't change, just the text box. So it should be the same color. What is it? White?
It's
for
white
starters, right?
Yeah,
So
I think
that
they actually answered that question in the next question.
Yeah, like I think
Suggestion rarity text.
This is a starter champion, and there would be and that there would exist novice and expert level champions. In terms of suggestions, I would like the term awesome as a new rarity. A serious suggestion is champion. Yeah. I think so. Or like, yeah, just something in there. We could probably look into that for Invasion. It's just, it does make sense. The game has evolved. We just never went back to clean up some of those things that just aren't relevant anymore.
Yeah.
But hereby, like, all starters are champions.
No.
No.
I'm gonna start my game off with this stack token.
Stack tokens say token.
Oh.
Yeah.
But aura cards say
Aura
starter.
cards.
Ooh, I can start as an aura? Ooh, that'd be fun.
I am 5 aura. In depth. All right, the next one. Yeah, we'll figure something out. I think in Invasion we'll look into changing that, because that's one of the things I want to do, is look into making some slight changes to the template in Invasion, especially when it came to color blindness and being able to read some of the stuff. So this ties into the next thing. Another great suggestion from Veflix, the rarity text, Epic in particular, would be easier to read if it's always white, especially for folks who process colors differently. So when I first printed the game, like in alpha, and I brought it to SkyCon, there was one of the first people we demoed with was colorblind and could not see the different dots in the awareness grid. So something like shoulder throw, it wasn't evident that was the spot behind you, or smoke bomb, because it was just, they're all just dots, right? So smoke bomb and guided arrow had the exact same awareness.
Was that alpha or beta at that time?
That was alpha.
So it would have been gray dots, right?
Gray dots
they were
with a red.
It was a red dot for the champion and gray dots for the stuff. Then we moved it towards arrows. And the original templates, if you look at the really old templates, they were arrows and dots. But then when we moved to this new templates, we were thinking of like precious stones. So stones in kind of like a Chinese checker type of board grid, where you're just like placing stones in. That was supposed to be the feeling, but we had to change some of that. So we did work with someone who was colorblind when we were changing the awareness at that time. And that's something I would probably look at doing again. It's just, it hasn't come up for a while, so it hasn't been on the top of my mind. But at the same time, it's not something I want to neglect. If we can make changes, then I'm going to work on it. But at the same time, it's a lot of work to do like a complete revamp. And I don't think we're quite there yet, but it'll come one day. Okay, so this question is that, yeah, okay, the next one. This one has come up a lot from Gloucester. I don't know if I mentioned this, the previous question was from Awesome Wasim. Gloucester asked the question, at this point, how can people get their hands on a copy of the Odds Tiger New Year promo? There's a story behind this. So one, okay, I want to hear your opinions, because you both are going to have a completely different perspective. How do you feel about promos that are just locked behind a convention? If you came to the convention, you got it. Outside of that, you just don't get them.
Can I make it to the convention?
So, some people, like circuit promos, for example.
Right.
All the circuit promos are going to be locked to their circuit.
And each one are different, right?
Yes.
It's different.
Ooh.
I don't mind it, but I think it's better to go for a Will's opinion, because he's the big collector, right? But I think for the tiger, it's perfect to make sense that you have to wrestle a tiger to get the promo. It just makes sense.
You have to wrestle the tiger.
Can I like
the wrestle
mute you or something?
Jeez.
This is where you're supposed to say Haunted Castle does not condone wrestling tigers.
Alex's opinion does not express those of Haunted Castle Gaming. So I think the tigers, if they were locked to just Gamma, then this would be a whole other conversation. Then I could say, hey, it was a Gamma only promo that we gave out, but we continue to give them out outside of Gamma. So now there's going to be a solution. I have one in mind, and I think we're at a close enough point that I can start talking about that. But before we get to that, I do want to hear from Will's perspective, from your side, and everyone who's in the chat. Like, please share with us your opinions too. But how do you feel about the fact that like you're not going to be able to get all the circuit promos, more than likely?
Well, I mean, for the longest time that would have bothered me, but it's just going to become a reality as the game grows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so right now in this instance, I could say that this Anja Tiger Chinese New Year promo is the third card that I don't have, right? It's the only card I'm missing of 3 now because I don't have that card that's circuiting right? The other 2 are incredibly difficult to get
You're
a hold
one of 4s, right?
One of 4s.
Yeah.
So that part's like, on the flip side though, I haven't had an opportunity where that was available, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's available at a convention, I could go to that convention if I was desperate to go over there, or I can also reach out to people who were there who maybe don't have the desire or the love for the game to the same degree that I do, and maybe they're willing to part with it. Mm-hmm. There is a reason to have special promos at each convention or each circuit or whatever, because it allows for the people who are there to have something special, unique, promoting that. Is it difficult to collect? Yes, it's going to be. I think with Origins, with the Kickstarter, and the stores that bought into it, they all are going to have unique promos as well, right? So the expectation that every card is going to be obtainable easily has to change. It's going to take some work. But, I mean, if I can do it with the foils, we'll just do it with all the alt arts. Or we'll attempt to.
My brother's calling me out for being lazy, and I want to know what happened here. What did I miss? It's not that much work to make a complete change. It is just... Oh, okay. When we're talking about the templates. So, it's one of those... So, my collector side, I grew up with the one story that was always on my mind was the Dark Magician Girl that was around for the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament.
Oh, no. I'm getting called out.
And how that... Like, when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! It was like... Dark Magician Girl took a while to come out in the set. So, the people who were at that first tournament had it early. And it was one of those things that eventually I had to let go of and be like, good for them. Like, it's good that some of these people were there and in the early days to get those things. Like, it's like getting Sky Now, or getting, what are some of the other crazier ones from,
Future League ones.
Heads or Tails, Giant Scorpion. When Steve-O first got those, he was giving them out to everyone. But now they're a lot harder to find. I think there needs to be an understanding of a evolution of the product, and how some things need to celebrate a moment and not just be accessible to everyone.
And it adds the collectability of those things. Those things become collectibles. It becomes something that people are sought after. They try to get a hold of. But I think there's a difference. The main difference for me is that there's ways of doing it where it's targeting people's FOMO, like the actual trying to be aggressively saying, like, if you're not here, you'll never get this card because it's so rare and it's going to be so valuable. We don't know if that's necessarily the case, and that's not the purpose behind these types of promos. But there are companies that can do that, which becomes very targeting of a specific, personality traits and stuff like that.
I like that it marks a special occasion that you went to that circuit. Like, why don't you deserve something special?
Mm-hmm.
It's when the moment we as a company start giving them to other people outside of those situations that the conversation changes. So this was brought to my attention, and I agree. Like the Future League promos, the 5 that are in circulation right now. Last month we added some of those into the Patreon packs, which we shouldn't have. And it's like, all right, then what's the point of what's the point of doing the Future League stuff if you could just get it through Patreon, right? Like, it doesn't show how special those things are. So I think it's one of those. It's one of my just definitely personality quirks that I'm trying to understand as the company changes. There's formalities that need to be introduced, and one of them is everyone can't get everything, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way I've always been. Like, if people come to my house for dinner, I want to make sure they're well fed. I want to make sure they get really nice things, and that was how Genesis was in the early days. If people wanted stuff, I always got them promos, or I got them like you could get Sky for months after SkyCon had ended. But now it has to be a clear statement of this promo is for this event, and this is the only way you can get it.
Yep. See, I wanna bring an opinion up, because speaking on this, like, personally, how I view this, while they're exclusive to that promo, I would not be against seeing them at the championship, because those were all the stages going up to the championship, and that's the biggest of the events. Like, all these are steps to there. That's just my thought in my head. I'd love to see what the community thinks about that.
Yeah, so one of those, like, hey, if you came to the circuit and you placed and you got into the championship, then it also gives you eligibility to get some of the other ones. Something like that.
More so just that whatever we're doing at the championship, because assumingly we're going to be doing cooler special stuff with, as we go more championship, that's another chance for people to get them there.
Yeah.
That's not saying that's what we're doing. I'm just saying, like, in my head, that makes sense, because they were the circuits, the road to the championship.
Yeah. So all that being said, when it comes to the Argent Tiger, if it had stayed locked behind Gamma doors, then that would have been one thing. But the fact that they started circulating outside of Gamma, it was a whole other conversation. Then there's a second side to it. After Gamma, after we had come back and we started taking inventory of all the promos, I found out that all the remaining Argent Tiger promos that I had were damaged. So we are finding a way to get more of them and find a way to get them into community. I will say that they will get tied into people playing, because we want to get, I think, encouraging stores to host more Geo events are going to be a thing, but they're not going to be as challenge. I'm hoping to find a way that they're not as challenging as the anniversary promos are, but at the same time they're not as free-flowing as some of the other promos in the past have been. So we have a strategy in place, and once we're ready to roll it out, we'll announce it. But there will be a way soon for not just players but also stores to get some of those promos. Alright, so we got 2 minutes. This one's difficult. I've realized that there's a lot of nuance and intricacies to the stack and the windows of response. Could we get some info, tips, tricks about how the stack resolves and the different ways it can be interacted with, specifically with how passing priority works?
I'll do this I can do this. Okay. So ability is played. You, the person who plays the ability, passes priority to Sid. Sid may now play ability or pass priority back to you. You, even though this is still in the stack, now have your final chance to play another ability or pass. If there's been 2 passes, both Sid and I, it resolves. It's done. And repeat that process infinitely.
Yeah.
That's the way up and on the way down.
Yep.
I could see how there are a lot of confusions with the stack. I think the biggest way is walking through a few of them. Once you start walking through a few of them with a judge, you'll understand them a lot better. So now that Will's starting to stream stuff, I'm just gonna start throwing people over to Will and be like, "Hey,
come on down. We'll teach you how to play
live on stream. I'll give you a whooping."
Now, I mean, I can't guarantee a top 8 to everybody because there's just not enough spots. But those who are dedicated to the craft and are willing to put the time in, I can almost potentially, not quite, but surely get you a top 8. Maybe.
No guarantees. So a topic I do want to, maybe we'll do a special video about this someday, but I want to talk about booster packs, collectability, and some of the stuff that have been happening with like Hearthstone booster packs, the legality behind it. I've been doing a lot of research. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I would love to jump into a spirited debate about it. There is one thing I do want to talk about because it's been in the chat and we haven't addressed it. I want people to note that at the end of the day, let's try our best to be an accommodating community for all games and all platforms. Let's not bring any of those type of conversations, especially into exploring the libraries or any of our public forums. At the end of the day, we love card games. We love games. We love TCGs. And that's one of the things I love about exploring the libraries is that we can talk about Magic. We can talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, Flesh and Blood, MetaZoo, all those games, and show appreciation where we find appreciation. So, for everyone who is in the chat talking about that, offline, please, Discord. So not in the live streams.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying. That's a good point. But people are jumping on the.
Your top 8.
I feel like Alex now after a Kickstarter party where I promised somebody some promos.
So next week's Exploring the Library may or may not happen depending on Will and Alex's availability.
I'm driving, so Alex will have to hold the camera.
Oh, don't worry. We've got all the special guests prepared. You got Joey's gonna show up. Jeff
Isn't he gonna be there?
Can I mute Alex? Like, is this a thing? There's a mute button. There we go. Sorry. You can unmute yourself. I was kidding. But yeah, we'll see how things go. At the very least, we'll give notification if it's happening or not. But it'll be great if we can all get together, even a small little 10-15 minute stream, and let people know how the drive's going. And if anything, if anyone's interested in joining me and in exploring the libraries, and we could just have some guests come in and we could chat about Genesis. So anyone who's watching today, message me privately on Discord if you're interested in joining me for exploring the libraries next week.
Yeah, you could always give it could be a Sid and Sid show, and you can give him some tips on deck building.
Yeah Evasion. Especially when there's no sideboarding. Just something.
Some people started playing when sideboarding was a thing, and some people played back in the day.
All right, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great night, and that's it for today.
All right, good night.
Have a good one, guys.
Let me mute us and then throw up the closing screen.